On the 2nd of August 2022, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic congressional delegation received a hero's welcome in Taiwan, with Pelosi becoming the highest-ranking U.S. elected official to travel to the island since then House Speaker Newt Gingrich in 1997. So where is Taiwan? Taiwan is an island, roughly 100 miles from the coast of southeast China. The main island of the country covers an area of 35,808 square kilometers, with about two-thirds of Taiwan covered with the rugged mountain landscape, having over 200 peaks exceeding 3,000 meters in elevation. Taiwan is a geologically active island, earthquakes are frequent, and the island is punctuated by numerous steam vents and hot sulfur springs. Taiwan experiences as many as 15,000 to 18,000 earthquakes each year, 800 to 1,000 of which are noticed by people. Before we move on, let's get a quick recap of the history of Taiwan. In the early 17th century, Dutch and Spanish settlers established bases in Taiwan. Coming to recent times, on 25 October 1971, the United Nations General Assembly passes UN Resolution 2758, recognizing the People's Republic of China, PRC, as the only legitimate representative of China to the global body, leading to the ROC withdrawing from the UN. In 1987, martial law, in effect since 1949, ended and banned the formation of new political parties, and news publications were lifted, with democratization going into high gear, with the beginning of cross-strait people-to-people exchanges. In 1991, Taiwan became a member of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. In 2002, Taiwan became a member of the World Trade Organization. In 2009, Taiwan attended the World Health Assembly as an observer, marking its first participation in an activity of the UN since its withdrawal in 1971. In 2015, President Ma and Chinese leader Xi Jinping met in Singapore in November, marking the first top-level meeting between the two sides in 66 years. In the same year, Taiwan signed the WTO's Trade Facilitation Agreement and submitted its Instrument of Acceptance to the organization. Before we talk about the semiconductor industry, first let's look into the economy of Taiwan. If you are new to this channel, then do mind liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more updates, and do keep supporting us. Thank you. In the 1970s, Premier Chiang Ching-kuo's 10 major construction project, the nuclear power plant, Jinshan Nuclear Power Plant, which was built infrastructure across Taiwan, increased electricity production and boosted steel production, critical components of the infrastructure fuel boom. The project signaled Taiwan's entry into the modern era with FDI inflows, supporting investments such as the Hsinchu Technology Park and the expansion of family businesses, which form the backbone of the current economy. By the early 21st century, Taiwan's GDP per capita had risen from $1,400 following World War II to more than $50,000 on purchasing power parity, PPP, higher than that of most developed European nations at the time. The Central Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan, serves as the central bank, with the new Taiwan dollar, or TWD, as the official currency of Taiwan, has been in circulation since 1949, after replacing the old Taiwan dollar. The nation is also developing a central bank digital currency, CBDC, which is expected to debut in September 2022. Taiwan has a total population of approximately 23.6 million and has been able to keep its unemployment rate at virtually the same level despite the pandemic, with unemployment slightly increasing from 3.7% in 2018 and 2019 to 3.9% in 2020 and decreasing to 3.73% as of June 2022. Taiwan, due to its rapid industrialization and high economic growth rates between the 1960s and the 1990s, and its development into a high-income economy, has been called the Four Asian Tigers, along with South Korea, Singapore, and Hong Kong. In 2020, Taiwan was the only Asian tiger that reported positive gross domestic product, GDP, growth of 3.1%, ranking first in the Asia-Pacific region, with the Taiwanese government upgrading its 2022 GDP growth forecast to 4.42%. On the back of stable demand for exports and increasing global demand for the island's technology products, and ranks 22nd globally in terms of nominal GDP and purchasing power parity, right above Iran. The Taiwanese Consumer Price Index increased 2.42% year-over-year in January 2022, the highest level since 2009. The government expects inflation to hit 1.93% in 2022, up from 1.61% previously. Thanks to a strong economy and ultra-low loan rates, Taiwan's housing market is thriving, with both demand and supply rising, with house prices increasing for the 12th straight quarter in Q3 2021, rising 6.95% from a year earlier, slightly higher than the previous year's 6.73% gain. Meanwhile, housing transactions in Taiwan's 6 major cities increased by 7.3% to 213,994 units in the first 10 months of 2021. Compared to the same period last year, home prices in Taiwan rose 15% in 2021 after a 7% growth in 2020, and house prices growing 14.7% YoY in March 2022, following an increase of 14.9% YoY in the previous quarter. Now let's talk about the semiconductor industry in Taiwan. In the 1970s, Taiwan began to follow the road of industrial technology, transforming its economy into high-tech fields such as communications, information, semiconductors, and consumer electronics. Soon after that, various industrial research institutes were established in Taiwan, and Taiwan also sent many students to the United States and other places to learn advanced technologies, allowing them to return to contribute to Taiwan's industrial development after their studies. Among them are Zhang Zhongwu of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company or TSMC and others, laying the foundation for many large enterprises in Taiwan and forming a perfect industrial system. Taiwan now dominates the foundry market or the outsourcing of semiconductor manufacturing. Its contract manufacturers together accounted for more than 60% of total global foundry revenue last year, according to data by Taipei-based research firm TrendForce. It counts major technology firms such as Apple, Qualcomm, and Nvidia as its clients. According to TrendForce, TSMC accounted for 54% of total foundry revenue globally last year. Let's talk about the United States and Taiwan. The United States does not have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, but has an unofficial relationship. Through the American Institute in Taiwan, 8, a non-governmental organization, the United States' unofficial relations with Taiwan are mandated. The United States has a long-standing One China policy, which is guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 U.S.-China joint communiques, and the 6 assurances, and opposes any unilateral changes to the status quo from either side, and does not support Taiwan's independence.